So, first breakdown session. I'll hope my mic works after. Um, you guys already know how this works, but let's see. First, I'll obviously go over news. I'll try to put them in the chat before I do anything, so I'm not scrolling through Twitter. Let me move this over real quick. Let's do this. No, not that. No, there we go. All right, so I'll go over news first, and then I'll go over EPS for the week. Then I'll go over. I'll do some weekly overview charts just to kind of get a picture for what the market's looking like, what it did last week, and then we'll always start with SPX QQQ, break both of those down, and then I'll go over the charts that I thought had a potential setup. It's going to be a lot. I'll try to keep it under like, I don't know, 25, 20 usually. You figure it's an action-packed week too, so a lot of stuff set up. But typically it shouldn't be that much. But yeah, definitely not more than 25. You figure my usual watch list for the week is 10 names usually, maybe a little more. But for the ones that actually set up, it's typically a lot less. But anyways, all right. News this week. So I had I saw the memory upgrades on SNDK raising prices. So memory's going to be on high watch. I didn't put that one here, but that was Sam's retweets. And then you have the obvious poly market, government's shut down, getting boosted with the tariff hikes and stuff like that. So we'll actually see what's winning. It's either going to be a gap up from SNDK, MU, WDC, all the memory stocks off that news, but they might be fighting with the market. So I'm actually curious to see how they gap up. And then metals as well. This is big. USAR. US plans to put 1.6 billion into USA rare earths. So that's the main news. But just off of that, really quick, let me look at one thing. When they say numbers, I'll typically refer. So like, okay, this is crucial information. Their market cap's only 2.5 billion. So they just got influx with 50% extra of their entire market. That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you figure, 1.6, that's what, 4 billion. This can go to highs, this can double from where it is. So 50 should seem pretty easy. Obviously, it doesn't say, let's see. There's no dates, 1.6 billion over the course of the next year. There's no dates. So that's still to come, but we'll see. This has every right to go up to those highs. Just something to know. But we'll go over that. All right. This is also going to be a lot. EPS this week, we got a lot of big companies. So obviously I'm not going to trade anything with with earnings this week, but just to show, a lot of Mag 7s. These are sorted by market cap too. I don't know why ASML is like that, but ASML's big, a lot of Mag 7s, a lot of energy stocks, a lot of banks, a lot of semis, a software company, everything. A lot of big companies. You figure they're still...
season is, and it's just starting in two.
Literally. A lot of big companies. Obviously, we're not going to trade anything, but that should that should make someone a little more cautious, just in terms of if you're entering a semis trade and ASML has earnings coming up the next day. That's stuff you need to know. So maybe take a little trades. Maybe exit a little quicker this week, go a little lighter, but that's probably what I'll be doing. And then I'll just be checking, before I enter when something has earnings, if it's like a pairs trade or if it'll possibly move what I'm in. Those are all stuff to note before you enter. But all right, rare earths news big, and then we'll watch what the tariffs do. But anyways, let's look at SPX. Tight close. I'd assume this is going to gap down a lot more though.
I think that 6720 is the active major support as a target with that's if, well, dude, I have 3 major supports, on top of like the intraday quarterlies for it's just, there's a lot that can can happen depending on where APM numbers open up today.
That was a good tag near 0.72. Yeah, we'll see where they open up. I'm gonna guess just from technical perspective though. Back over 69.20, especially off a gap down, would be big. And then under 68.45, this zone's going to be big. You figure we have a nice trade if it gets back under 68.12, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see though. That probably wouldn't be able to be taken Monday. Gap down and then drop. We'll see. It's 100 or.
Now, does that fair value get invalid? Like, is that still an active one with that big one right there?
Right here.
Yeah.
I mean, if
like
it.
Say we gap down.
Yeah, if it's gapping down into it, you figure it might be a buy zone, honestly. So that's another scenario. If we gap down and we test this 68.45, honestly, that's not going to be a bad shot to go long because you define stop at 68.45,
Yeah.
fill the fair value gap.
Yeah. And what's that next level above? That purple?
68.82. Big 68.82.
Okay. So honestly, like 68.82 is a good area to see 6,900 calls for like and use the reference point of $20 for that contract. But like even Wednesday or Friday, probably it's normally like 2 days ahead.
Yeah.
Those should be at like 20 at that level, the 6,900s.
Okay.
So keep that in mind too.
So it sounds like this 68.45 will be that that line in the sand. Under there, I might start looking for shorts. Yeah, I like that. All right, we'll see where it gaps up to. Or gaps down. I'm assuming gap down. QQQ is a little uglier, just in terms of levels around. QQQ 621 to 614. That's $7. What was that gap down on SPX? $70. That's the wrong SPX. Whatever. I'll go back to it. 70. Yeah, I don't know if that QQQ level will correlate with the 68.45. It might, but we can also use that as an indicator.
Yeah, I would also assume that Qs look stronger than SPX because I feel like that's been stronger.
Yeah.
With the news that came out.
Well, yeah, that's what. Yeah, you're right. QQQ should be gapping up more off that memory news, or holding at least. You figure SNDK, MU, and WDC are going to gap up. Yeah, we'll see. All right, QQQ above 614 and SPX above 68.45. Stay bullish. Under those, switch the outlook a little bit. I like it. All right, let's look at. Ooh, AMD's probably already charted up on here. Oh yeah, so actually, really quick, let me go over this actually, just for them. So, I'll go over this major watch list before I start these videos. I grouped them all up. There's 130 stocks in here, split up all by industries. So I'll run through all these. I'll post this in the Discord too, just so you guys can copy this exact list. But I'll run through all these, just clicking through. I'll compile what I think might have a setup, and then that's where I'll leave it to you guys. But there's a lot. Ideally, these are 130 of some of the best stocks in the market, and then anything else you guys want me to break down. But yeah, I've already went through these. Let's look at what I found. I might have to chart some of them up still, but that's okay. All right, AMD was first. Yeah, disgusting setup. Little extended, but still a great setup nonetheless, with easy defined levels. So if this breaks up on Monday, you're probably looking at a fake out. More probable cause for a fake out than a nice clean run. So if this breaks out on Monday, I'd probably wait for a 267 back test. So if it rips over, wait for the back test. Wait for the interaction again. The other scenario could be it tests 267 off the open and then fails. You also have a trade if it gets back over 267. But you just got to watch out here. This is really stretched from the 9. So ideally, you get a base in between these two levels. Maybe even a crack under 256. Test the 9. Any break back up above these levels when the 9's closer, you should have a good trade. But
is there any platform that alerts when an MA gets tagged or no? it's only by like
No,
price level.
you can tag. You can let me see. No, I think you can tag a moving average.
Like, yeah.
That would be really cool, actually. Add alert. Oh no, it's just a normal alert. Huh. You know, that's actually not a bad idea. But yeah, ideally this doesn't break under 256. If it does, wait a little bit. But this is creating a really nice formation. Maybe even we get like another half of this over here. This, and then we get a little cup and handle action. But we'll see. That'd be nice. So keep this one on watch. All right. MU no real setup. I'm not gonna not watch it just because that memory news. It's still been the main focus. I'm not gonna put this one away. Let's actually just see what we're looking for here. Yeah, you got no real hard levels. That's also becoming an issue. Let's do this. Here we go. We got some weeklies now, but still, it's nothing. They're not powerful. You gotta wait for those back tests at the 9. Like that would be perfect. 9MA somewhere right around these two levels, and you has a little dip. Test that 365 again. It's a great trade with 35 points to the upside. This thing is moving. So we'll see. Chill for now. STX was a decent one just because you're tight. This is another memory play. And ideally some of these might just start catching up. Let's do this. Alright. Right near highs. Just bounced off of it on Friday too, right off the 9MA. This is a nice tight trade over 350. Maybe even over Friday's highs. Or another dip to 332 when it holds, but I'll be watching this area, this 350 to 332.
The only thing is, I'm curious how the liquidity is on this one.
Yeah.
Because I've never before.
It might be like a WDC, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, on those, then you just check if you could get a good fill on those debit spreads too. But I mean, you get a good fill on that, you're done. That's it.
Yeah. I've honestly found like if their spread on like options is pretty high, debit spreads work a lot better.
Yeah.
As a play, you know what I mean? And the emotion tied to it is
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Fucking 4 times, you know.
Yeah, it's not even close. All right, so STX will check liquidity, but let me actually just start these. All right, I'll go back over at the end too, just kind of my focus list because I know this is a lot. But CRDO gets 124 again. It honestly really might start looking weaker. So if this can hold here, lower low, two bottoms, lower high finally, get back over 145 maybe, but this is nothing just because it's under every MA. It's still basing, but I'm going to take that one. ABGO as well, might just have to wait. This one's a little different just because of how stretched it is from the 9. Let's just see real quick. Let's get some quarterlies in here. Especially when you have defined levels. I kind of like taking stuff like this. Yeah, so especially 9MA on a weekly. When's the last time it broke its 9 on a weekly? 2022 to 23. So one can assume it holds. One can definitely assume, especially wicking out of a monthly like that. So a couple things. If I get that test of the monthly again, I might try it just because it's stretched from the 9. 329. I feel like I've missed it if I enter there. Ideally, that's a good pivot, but the 9MA is going to catch up. Everything's going to catch up. That might be its rejection point. So, two trades on AVGO. Gets over Friday's highs, and then you can do 317 stop, or tags 317 again. Honestly, don't mind this. You're gonna have some good catalyst performing earnings this week, so this could be a good pairs trade, and it doesn't have earnings itself. It's very good. This almost tagged that gap too. So So honestly, if this market gaps down again, and Navy Geo tags 307, that'd be like prime time. I know it's weak, but then that thing's really far from the 9. You figure even if it does nothing for a day, it still has to chill. But we'll figure that out. Like AVGO. WDC is just a little tight. I might just wait on this one. Let me see what it looks like here. Got a decent base. Right off that 234 again. It probably already broke above, I would assume. I don't think it's gonna respect this trend line. I'll keep it there regardless. Got really tight. Maybe that's actually what it wants. I'll keep an eye on WDC. No trade though, really. RMBS was the same thing. This is another memory trade as well. Didn't really have the best action. But I like this pullback, especially if it gets to the 9 again. 3 days, lower volume. Let's see if we could get a level associated with this. It'll look a lot better. Alright. You got two good areas. So tags 115 and already tagged. So any little bounce off this, I think you have a good shot with 114 as your stop. I might try that. And then if it gets under 114, 109 would be great with the bounce off the 9MA. But I like this. This looks really good if it holds here. You got a really big range back up.
Is that memory or semi?
Memory. I like this one. 120. Let me see if I could actually get some weekly targets in here. I mean, obviously highs. Damn, other than that, it's dailies. Probably target that gap first. You got a lot of resistance in there. A lot. I'll just mark up all of them.
MA, see what the MAs want to do.
Yeah. I mean, you got a clean range back up to 120. That's still $5.
What does that look like if you mark up that low, mark up that high?
From where? I mean, this is a little stretch. I would probably consider this the range. Unless
so like 0.61 maybe. It's 10 right now.
I'm not even gonna mark up this range. Like, this is obviously another one off the gap up. That's low to high, but I'm not even gonna use that. Just leave it there. I started that one though. It's not bad. Spotify is interesting too. Holding the quarterly, if it gets back over that 9MA, you figure it's a nice little switch in trend, and you have a clear stop at 506. Big target area too. Big target area. Previous highs. Held off this level last 2 times. It was a little choppy, but this one's not bad. Might be a little. It's not even that slow. I mean, you're still getting $10 a day. That might pay fast. I just don't know what the spreads are. Amazon had a good day on Friday. Reclaimed, held big resistance area for months. That's a good switch. MA's all coiled up. Reclaimed the 9. Reclaimed the 21. Not fantastic volume. Amazon on a back test of this 238.85. Even if it dips below and then gets back over, this would be a good entry. Yeah, held it all until the close the other day. I don't mind this Amazon if it does another bounce here. If you take this break, ideally it's just not Monday, or maybe you take a second attempt breakout off 242. Hits 242, chills, base is under it, gets nice and tight. Yeah.
I really like how Mac is setting up going into the earnings.
Yeah.
You know, all of like 7.
Let's see. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, that 238's a big pivot. Just keep an eye on Amazon, especially Meta-Ran. You got a lot of Mag 7 reporting this week though, so we'll see. APP was interesting. This is not a bad shot at all. So the news has been shit, but
I'm watching it for the past 2 months, man. I think it's finally giving me my opportunity.
yeah, nice swing trade. What is it at? 525. I mean, 600s month out.
I think my plan would be to sell cash secured puts on this one.
You want to fill in? I mean,
actually secured put.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is fucking bread. All right.
I know bread or
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like the risk to reward here though. Nice low volume stretch from the 9MA. You figure any one day or just bounce from here, it's gonna pay. It's gonna pay. This is $20 movement a day minimum. So I like APP risk to reward here. That's not what I was looking at. There we go. CLS. This one's getting really pretty. Really pretty. So I mean, from a weekly perspective, this thing is just pending, loading, waiting to go. So I'm gonna look at. Let's see if we could actually get another range in here. This is a little. No quarterlies. We get any monthlies? Damn, there's actually nothing in between here. Okay, so then let's see what we have to work with. These are all the levels. So that's a good thing though. I mean, all right, 2 things on CLS then. Bounce off 295.61. That'd be an awesome entry. You have a huge range back up to 336. Other than that, I might look for this high. You figure Thursday and Friday stopped at 305. That's 310 before the MAs, before any real resistance comes in. And then through there, if I'm just playing those levels, I mean, they get a little thin, but only hard level is 336. Let me see. Let me get a few weeklies in there, just to make it a cleaner. Yeah, anything more than that is a stretch. There you go. Now you got at least some good targets. 307, 313, 322, 336. Nice. I like CLS. Ideal entry is 295.61 bounce. Second entry would be 21 MA reclaim over 305 or just that 307 level. But let's see if we get that 295. VRT I am in, but this thing is ready. So VRT as well, I just want to know, I'm probably taking this one on Monday off the open for my first positions trade because this is just fucking gorgeous. So nothing I'm going to miss. Coiled on the weekly, ideally maybe 171 will be my stop, and I'll wait. Maybe if it even cracks under the 9. But this thing's been waiting for a while. Earnings are amazing. Let's see. There's some quick math too. 261. Let's just do some. This is just quick math on how I'll do a forward PE ratio as well. So notice how VRT's increased almost every single quarter. They're a little cyclical, but not enough to just be staggered for an entire year. So with that in mind, you take their last EPS report, which was what, 265? Yeah, so 265. Their current. Let's go here real quick. This is how you can kind of just value any company, in my opinion. Their PE ratio is 68. That's kind of like that's average in my eyes for this industry, but we'll do like 35 just to be conservative. So you take their last earnings, 265 times 4, that's 1060. So that's 1060 for the year. Times that by, let's say what, 35 PE ratio? That's 371. So in retrospect, that's where VRT can head. That's just a little way of doing forward PE ratio and then kind of adding in the EPS.
That is a quick video. that quote right there.
What happened? Yeah, that's a whole other video. I'll honestly make a video on how to value a company, but it's quite easy.
Why you that so quickly, but like, you know,
It's that's the whole point. You want it to be quick and you want it to be effective. That's a no BS, that's a no BS situation. So.
and the best part of that, it's all related to fundamentals.
Mm-hmm. All related. It's just EPS. EPS is everything. EPS is earnings per share. It's how much a company is making. Simple as that. And then you can look at average. One thing, if you don't know how to do the PE ratios, you could just do, like, this is another thing, average PE ratio of, what was VRT? Let's see, where's VRT? VRT is in hardware and servers. Hardware and server, or we'll just say companies. Like, it's not going to be spot on, but you have it between 30 and 48. So I said 35. It's perfect. Doesn't need to be perfect. I could have done 30 on a low end, just to be, conservative. But that's 265 times 10 times 30. 10. That's 26.5. Oh no, I'm sorry. 265 times 4. Times 30. Yeah, that's $318. Regardless, VRT is undervalued. It's been chopping around for a while. It's looking tight. This thing's it's ready to go, in my opinion. So I'll use that as my first position trade. And the way I'll do position trades too, I'm going 100% in VRT. I'll have a stop loss in mind. I'll have targets in mind. I'll obviously post those. Now let's just do it right now, just so you guys have them. But boom. Be very self-explanatory.
Do you have a section in your doc about PE like that?
No, that's not. That's honestly different than options trading. So I'll have to make another. I'll make a video on that, how to value a company. So yeah, VRT here. You figure first target's already 193, then all-time highs, and then my first stop is probably MAs. Honestly, if we even start closing under the 9, start looking weak, I'll think to chill. But I like the setup here for a first position trade. Alright, let's keep moving on. TSSI. TSSI, if I remember correctly, was just a nice 9MA. Yeah. It's a nice, you have the rip, clean retracement, lower volume almost every single time, right off the 9MA. So let's see if we get some levels in here. Well, damn, this thing is fresh. This one is fresh, dog. Alright. Boom. Let's get some monthlies. Alright, good. Done. That's a lot marked up, but let's see. Clear picture. Alright, nice, and it's a quarterly. So two things on TSSI. If you get that back test on 1089, is it 1089? Yeah, that's probably your best entry, but also riskiest, because you figure, any crack under this low, 1080 from Thursday, you start breaking the 9, or from Friday, you start breaking this 9MA. So if you enter right off 1089, if it closes under the 9MA, maybe that's your stop, but if it's ideally above this 1050, you still have a chance of it bouncing. Entries there though, first target's 1185. That's a nice little profit range. Less risky entry, but more conservative entry is that 1185. If it breaks that, you still have, man, this thing moves. 1273 was that high. This is not a bad stock. I think I have this one in my small cap. Yeah, 1185 can still be taken, more conservative. 1089 full position if it bounces off that. But this thing's nice and tight. Good entry. Let's look at a net. A couple more. Not too many more. A net honestly wasn't amazing, but let's just, yeah, a net gapped up off really good news. So you figure if you could get another.
Waiting for the MAs to catch up.
Yeah, Exactly. Ideally, it does nothing Monday, or honestly comes down again. Test 133, chills. Another low volume day. 9MA's caught up. 21's a
Yeah,
little.
it's not a clear defined range too, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just those past 3 days.
You could do this too. So.
Where's that at 9MA? Oh, it's in the 0.79.
Wow, look at 0.72. You can't even see my level because it's the level.
Nice.
That's all right. There you go. So any entry on a net between 133.57 and that 131, 131 to 133 right here. That'll be a nice little golden area. Let me do that, just so I don't forget myself.
Afterwards, cat pictured.
You could, yes. You could. Where the fuck is my work button? There it is. You definitely could. Ideal entries on a net. It's not bad. Good pullback. Good correlation with fibs. Good correlation with quarterlies and moving averages. You have every known support helping you.
And then if you really want to be safe, buy exactly at 3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm selling out at that time.
Here's another similar story. Voice chat private. No.
Oh, Solito.
Voice chat private. Should be able to join. I don't know why it's saying that. It's not even a private channel. Nah, it should be working. I don't know why not. Alright, I'm not gonna deal with this right now though. Anyways. VSAT, similar story to ISSC. Same thing, low volume pullback into the 9MA. This one might move if, ASTS and all them start running, but we'll see. What up, Corey?
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir. GSSI. Breaking down all these videos, or I'm breaking down the charts, but anything that you missed, it'll be on that video today too. So you're chilling. Got a couple more to do, and then I'm gonna. Actually, I still got to retouch up on what I'm watching. So there's that. Let's see. Iron, good setup. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days sideways, basically. Finally caught up to the 9MA. Massive volume day on Friday. Stopped right at that Monday high. So let's see. Is this the only level above? Yeah. Alright. Quite self-explanatory on iron. Honestly, if it even dips and gets back near this 53, 54, and still near the 9MA, that might not be a bad entry for you to catch one of these wicks and it goes back up. So 53, 54 area. But then 61. If it happens Monday, you're looking at a less conservative breakout, just because it's a little stretch from the 9. If this does nothing Monday and kind of closes at the top of this range and then breaks, it'll be a little better risk to reward. So that might not be bad on iron. And then let's just see here. Gets a little thin above that 61. You figure first target's not 76. Let's see what else we could get here. Nice weekly there. Boom. Alright. Yeah, nice. 63.50, still a great target. These are fantastic targets for you to scale out of a trade on iron, if this actually goes. So iron I'll keep on watch. Ideal entries are like 54, and then you obviously have to see if it closes over the 9MA for the day. But anything back over that 61 area, decent entry if it happens later in the week. Let's see, BE. This one I kind of just threw on here, but it's could be good. Let's see how it holds up. This is more of a watch, I think. 'Cause it's really just this level. Yeah, wow, that's it. So, held the 9MA. You have a good wick on Friday. You have a trade if it gets back over that 147.86. So then you'll start tagging. Let's see. Just that high. This is really all you get, which isn't still a bad play. I think that was what, 155.87. So nice little trade there on BE. Gets over Friday's highs. Coincides with the quarterly 156 target. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Volume's a little meh, but that's good for a pullback. See if you get that pop. ASTS, don't even really need to say much. Through 120 can go. That's it. Through 120.8 can go.
That weekly doji really looks.
Yeah, this is disgusting action.
Squeeze me, you know.
Not only that, just the clean base. Number one, the liquidity day. Tried to break down under the 9MA, couldn't. And then 2 inside days after that. You actually have an inside day of an inside day from an inside day. Well, I guess just an inside day of an inside day, because this is an inside day because of that. So 2 inside days. That's crazy. That's how you know it's tight. Something has to happen. And the volume's decreasing rapidly. Any bar, I think you tag this 145, but quick, really quick. So we'll see.
Gorgeous.
That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. Baba, I kind of liked. I saw the pullback into the level. 9MA is starting to catch up. I'll see what this one does Monday, but if I can catch another interaction with this 172, I like it for the upside again. This one's starting to build up a really nice right side, and it's so undervalued. Baba. I mean, this thing can go up for years, and it would still be undervalued. Let's see, 170, yeah, 172.43. Let's see if we get that back test. Nothing crazy though. That's it. And then you can use the 9MA or even 172 as stops. And then it was just these materials trades. USAR had that good news, so we'll watch that. We got these 1 month levels on NP. Boom. Alright. So this one's got a big range if it gets over that. Let's see. Yeah, through 71 there's nothing until 82. So 71.12, really good breakout on NP. I like that one a lot. USAR.
Level.
Yeah, funny. I'm gonna let this one move. I feel like it's gonna gap up a lot. So we have to set up with NP. That's about it. But alright, let's run through these again. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still have 15 with stars on them, so let's try to get this list a little down here. Doesn't have to get down, but AMD, good potential setup forming. We'll watch that one. That one's got to stay on the watch list. STX can get put on the back burner. That one might be shit spreads. AVGO, again, not really a setup, more of a watch right away. So watch, setup. So I'll have two. I'll split these up into 2 lists. More of a watch and then more of an actionable. RMBS. I like it here. This RMBS is very similar to a net. Spotify. Yeah, Spotify over Friday's highs, you get that switch over the 9MA, but that's definitely not a focus. APP is a focus. I know that. I'll put it up. APP is a focus. Off that double bottom. CLS was a focus. I like this. I always do that. See if we get an interaction at any of those levels. VRT is just my entrance. I'm already in contracts, but TSSI is that low volume pullback. VSAT and TSSI, those are that low volume pullback into the MAs. I'll put those on watch. A net is exactly like Rambus. That'll be on watch. Let's see. Iron. What was Iron? Iron needs a little more time as well. Yeah. That one's a watch. I do like BE for intermediate. You just have a very defined entry and target. Nice stop. I like that one. It's more actionable. ASTS is very actionable. That could happen at any moment. Baba is more of a watch. MP is also actionable. Very quick. Could happen. So for actionable setups, that's AMD, RMBS, APP, CLS, VRT, a net, BE, ASTS, MP, and then more of a watch right now is STX, AVGO, Spotify, VSAT, TSSI, Iron, and Baba. Sounds good to me. Sounds great to me. Keith, you have any more you want to add?
Nah, man,
We're chilling.
my actual was right in line with yours. So
Yeah, nice.
that is, yeah, we are set.
SPX 6840. Let's just actually reiterate that. SPX, it was 6845. 6845 is kind of that line in the sand.
Yeah.
And then
If we get down into that area and hold out.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
And you could even play it 6845 as that is a center point for Wednesday's number.
Yeah.
You know, and then you play it up and down at that, or however you can play it multiple ways. But that's line in the sand. Yep.
I like this. All right. Good. Great list.
Q's too.
Awesome.
All I have is Q's 625 or 621, 25, and like 25. Those are the three main that I'm gonna monitor my NDX calls on.
All right. Dunzo.